I just recently left Chicago.
Right.
It was the Nation of Islam Savior's Day event that happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
And me going, I wanted to go to the streets because the Nation of Islam taught me as an alternative, hey, black man, look at yourself with a little bit more value. Hey, black man, you know your ideas is your money. It's not the money that you chasing. You got to respect the idea that God blessed you with, right? So me coming to Chicago, I said, I'm gonna go get the GDs, the BDs, the Vice Lords, the Black P Stones, the Black Panthers, some Moles, some Mickey Cobras. These are gangs that's out there, right?
Uh-huh.
But when they see me, they remember me. Oh, that's the dude that shot the movie, right? So I said, I'm gonna invite y'all to come to the mosque with me to hear this message. Do you know the gang members came? I got a couple of them here right now. My man Boss 365 coming out of Roseland. You know, shout out to Golden Child. Shout out to the Latin Kings. People was shocked, like, JT, how did you get these people to come? I say, man, I'm using the independent game. It's positive. It's not that I'm known for being a gangster. It's known that I'm not scared to come be with the gangsters and tell them some good info that help raise a person's mind who only thinking guns, drugs, bitches, murders, all this shit to, hey boy, that idea y'all got, y'all neighborhood valuable. You see bloggers come here and do their thing and make money. Y'all should look at your own environment to make films, to get the music and to put the films together. So many people making movies now, but I'm one of the architects of the no script movie making, shoot a fucking movie in 3-4 days, put your music in there and get a buzz. So many hoods is saying, bro, we want our story told. So shout out to Chicago for the brothers coming together. And I also had to shout out Kendrick Lamar and all the Crips and Bloods, the Hoovers, the neighborhoods, people who was having conversations, even though it didn't solve nothing overnight. It was the fact that I got invited to some of these meetings out here in LA about brothers squashing shit or at least having communication. So for me to get invited, I was like, damn, this might be part of what I'm supposed to do in this rap game.
Right.
I'm the underdog that God bless and still make it, even against all the odds. I'm 51. What the fuck you still doing in the rap game? Making beats, doing songs, making films, pulling up. Because you get old once you lose your vision.
100%. Wait, so you mentioned Islam, and definitely in Chicago in particular, you see that feeling like it might be sort of like a fix for some of the honor culture that exists in these inner cities, where dudes really feel like the one thing that they have to live and die for is basically like avenging their dead brothers and whatnot. But I think also, at least some people have a little bit of suspicion that maybe sometimes the faith is almost like a cover for maybe not as honest or upfront intentions by some people. Do you ever worry about that? Or it feels like sometimes people turn to Islam like right at the moment when it feels like the feds are coming down. No shots at anybody involved, but we've seen a little bit of that.
I think like this. For me personally, first of all, until I came in contact with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, FOI brothers that was in San Francisco Fillmore District, we never heard of nothing like this. But to see them brothers always caring about us, even though we had some guns or drugs, stolen cars, that information going into my young mind, I was able to capture the spiritual side. Like, you know what you do out here, you pay for it. You could shut down your rap dreams or shut down your dreams based on some little money moves you making now. You got to pay for this shit. That got burned into my head so young about the consequence that I got lucky that the word was strong enough. And then it empowered me to say, you know, signing 360 deals, publishing, copyright, masters, all of that's a business. You want to be famous, so you about to sign with these labels. You better get an understanding. At first, I just want the deal. You hear horror stories. Man, they gave me a necklace. They gave me a car. I signed the paper. But you didn't read all these in perpetuity mean forever. Masters, publishing, copyright. So now, fast forward back to Chicago and why people might hide under the faith. It can, once you come into the faith of Islam, it can give you the protection side that you feel like you getting oneness with Allah, right? Even though we come from Christianity, you could do the same thing. Some of us more hard-headed and needed something a little deeper. So that's when Islam becomes something where a person who only know guns, drugs, murder, killing. But when they learn this, it start opening their mind to consider this is the dark side. And it's going to end with death in jail. But this is opening my mind to be more of a human being, you know. But there's people who will get the light and then want to mingle with the darkness.
Right.
Still sell a little dope, kill a couple people here and there. But I'm Muslim, you know, assalamu alaikum. Nah, that ain't how it's supposed to go.
Right.
You know, Islam ain't nothing that got to do with you mixing your good with your bad. That don't mean we don't fall victim to our old self, but you can't be telling the world Muslim Islam, and then we see you right here. You got your guns, you got your dope, you got your prostitutes and hoes. It's a contradiction.
Because I'll be sitting on this podcast having a conversation with a young dude from Chicago, and they'll be not like a super young dude, because usually it takes them till a little bit older before they convert or whatever. But it'll be like we'll bring up an op, and then they won't have anything to say about him. And the reason why is basically like we're both Muslims, so I can't say nothing about him, etc. Which is a great development if that's sincere. But I think a lot of people also kind of have the fear of like everything's the same beneath this surface coating of like y'all acting as if things are a different way. I don't know how much that actually is the case, or how often, you know, people within that community are able to help try to get in between some of these beefs and whatnot.
I think people who convert or who accept, I won't even use the word convert, I would say accept Islam as their choice now, their path, they're being educated, they're learning. And then when you see, like you say, an op is doing the same thing, in that Holy Quran, it speak of never kill another Muslim. You know, it's against the law.
Yeah.
Like if somebody claiming Islam, you're not allowed to do that.
And for sure, if that dude comes on a podcast and starts talking shit about another Muslim, they're gonna be hearing about it from the older dudes in that organization.
Nah,
for sure.
You held accountable once you become part of some of these families, some of these institutions. Maybe it's the Nation of Islam, maybe it's Sunni Muslim, Al Islam, you know, Hebrews. It's so many different aspects, but I am seeing more people who saying they Muslim that they will be considering to at least be on defense, not to say I'm looking for or we still got smoke. So I think that do pour a little water, but the development of a pure heart saying Islam, none of us have achieved that yet. That would be false. I don't care how many hamdulillah, if they start talking in Arabic and got the head thing on, hey boy, you got the same struggle as the one who might come to the Nation of Islam. It's still the same struggle.
Well, okay, from your perspective, Chicago gets treated kind of like a unique case in a way. Could you just silence that? Sorry. Yeah. Just because it feels like the gang violence there is kind of extreme in comparison to a lot of other parts of America. But you've got a vantage point of having been involved in the industry and the streets in a whole shitload of American cities. What do you see as being unique about Chicago, or what makes it such an explosive environment over the last decade and a half or so?
I think the explosiveness of the violence goes up and down within Chicago, just my learning. I think the music and social media help expand it to it's more popularized. I think the people of Chicago are numb to the killing.
Yeah.
The young people already have a thought of how they're gonna die and what kind of funeral they want. People picking out caskets, do smoke sessions, chopping it up. Like people, it's so much killing. But the further you can get away from it, from like school, driving, music, studio, working a job, those who are having other aspects that they got access to, this side, is starting to look like it's not as beneficial. At a certain point, if you go back 10 years and you say, how did it get to right here? People know right now, hey, boy, if you get a job, you lucky as So to mix the two, you know, but those who ain't looking at jobs, I ain't looking at no business. I'm going to sell dope. I'm going to rob. I'm going to steal. I'm going to get it how I live. In that environment, it's explosive like a motherfucker. It's here today, gone tomorrow, you know, and spending some time out in Chicago for the month of February, I was just able to see like, it feel good to share something with street guys who listening to, hey, look, y'all, you know, California trying to put some peace together too. I'm shouting this out. I'm like, man, to see all y'all gangs in one room and I'm here talking to y'all, man, only God could have put me right here, because I know they like, yeah, you know, we don't really, our crews, they ain't getting along, but I'm a voice. I'm a big dog, so I could be here, so I could speak on behalf of our gang. That don't mean everybody gonna listen.
Right.
But in terms of these meetings, and we support you back, JT, for even coming, risking your life, coming up in here, you know. And one of them is here right now,
right?
You know, so I think the explosiveness is those who rejecting, like Minister Farrakhan say, you know, I have been a voice and a warning. I'm not supposed to be the one to do it for you. I'm the one telling you, if y'all continue this lifestyle, you're going to see a darkness come over the neighborhoods and you're going to see more bloodshed.
Right.
Because we are promoting it like it's okay. And if we don't want to hear God's voice on saying, look, I'm blessing y'all trying to give you a chance. But if you're going to reject the word and the warning, then you're going to see more killing, Adam. You're going to see, we seeing more Fed cases or more arrests and all this different stuff going on. The past, if you got away with killing people 4, 5, 10 years ago, whatever, and then you want to be promoting this shit like it's cool, but you already got away with it, you actually responsible to say, nah, I got away with it and I don't want to pay. It looked like all old bodies is coming back to pay.
Right.
Over these last couple of days, I'm like, damn, shit from 4, 5 years ago coming back with the ultimate weight.
Right.
Charges and all this shit.
I mean, it's kind of understandable in a way that if you get away with something for a year, 2 years, you start feeling like, okay, this is over.
Yeah, I got away.
Which is definitely not the case. And there's definitely been a lot of examples of people, you know, airing out stuff that they were involved with that seems insane. Now, once you see the Fed charges come down and you're like, oh, that might have been 3, 4 years ago, but you were talking about it like it was nothing. The truth is that the feds are very interested in that regardless.
Yeah, and they recording everything and lining it up with time stamps and all that shit. I seen it.